Alright, so in the previous videos I was showing you this technique on, this lasso technique on human faces. But let's kind of expand that into characters. I initially used this technique, or kind of found it, while doing quick character sketches, mainly doing knights. So just to go back and pay homage to that, let's doodle a knight. It's a little bit different because there's more shapes here, but you can really have some fun. Just think about random shapes, just throwing it on here. Kind of like vaguely knight shape, probably plate armor. And what's fun about this is you can just kind of start using the transformation tool in conjunction with the lasso tool, just to play with your shape. Excuse me, play with your shapes a bit more. Usually when doing these characters, I don't have a backstory for them at all. That usually comes after, when I start really thinking about it. I find it's, when I'm doing characters, it's just so much to think about, and I'd rather just focus on making something cool and then assigning all the traits and character-ness later on. So yeah, I'm just adding some shapes here. Everything's just kind of temporary right now. I'm just kind of placing placeholders. Yeah, my kind of favorite weapon usually is a mace here. It's a little unconventional. I don't really see people drawing knights with maces, so I want to fill that niche a bit. This looks kind of neat. Kind of cool, except, you know, there's like, these shapes are very similar, so we can go in with the lasso tool and start eating away, carving inwards to try and find more interesting shapes to play around with. Carve it a bit here. It's a little too symmetrical, which, nothing wrong with everything symmetrical, except that if you're an animation, animators are not going to really like that. Ooh, some wonky shapes here, but I kind of dig it. I like it. Something there. I use that for something. Kind of want, yeah, that looks good. Kind of want to accentuate this a bit more. This hand is, or this arm is a little bit too skinny. Fix that out a bit. Alright, I think we're, yeah, about to have a good silhouette to work with. This could work a bit more, but let's see if we can give it some more visual interest by scaling it, skewing it to the side. Something's still here that's, I wanted to, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I like that. Alright. Maybe we can reduce his shoulder pads here. When I was younger, I loved doing massive shoulder pads. I still kind of do, but in this case, I want this guy not to be about shoulder pads. Alright, looks like a good base. Let's create a new layer, clip that, and think about the overall color. I'm really feeling this maroon color. Yeah, and to see that a bit more, let's, yep, that's what it looks like. Let's, I'm just doing this so I can see the colors a bit better. There we go, that speaks to me. Alright, so I'm going to create a new layer, clip that, and let's start carving into it. So I have a maroon color. I'm trying to think if I want to go green or blue for the clothing, just to have some accents on it, to create an analogous color scheme. Maybe this is speaking to me. Let's give this a go. The valley's a bit too bright. Yeah, that speaks to me a bit more. Alright. Kind of has like a royal or regal feel to him. Ooh. Have some of that clothing peeking through. Maybe that's his. Wasn't fitting too well there. And then maybe his pants. Alright, I like that. Create a new layer. And what else am I thinking of here? What else can we add? Maybe as different boots. For some reason I was looking at this and I was thinking like maybe beige or white gloves or boots to make it really pop. Let's see how that looks. Kind of like that. Alright, let's go back to the armor color here. Let's take a look. I think I'm going to add, actually, let's create a new layer on the top here. I was just thinking about what other detail I need, because I'll just paint the shadow on top. But initially I was looking and thinking maybe I want to add some intricate designs around just to draw attention towards certain areas. I mean, I could go with, you know, like the gold color here, but it would be a bit different, a bit wild. Let's see. That's too bright. I think that would work. Alright, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and see where we'd want to add these details. Let's say maybe to describe the form a bit more, we can have it going down like this. Oh, I have my Cintiq. Oh, so my hand over the Cintiq, I can see that. That's kind of neat. Open the lasso. Oh. And let's just cut into that. Just creating visual noise right now. An illusion of detail. Cool, 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 cool. Kind of like that actually a lot. Let's add in a centerpiece down here. So it doesn't look like it's suspenders. And then my gut was saying, add these. I'm like, cool, I'll add that. I feel like his shoulder pads, or actually, no, I don't know. Their shoulder pads are building in, so we could either change the color a bit just to give them some sort of separation. That's looking really cool. Yeah, let's do it down here too. Cool. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of a darker color and start adding in I guess the ambient occlusion. Well, not really. What would we call it? Maybe I'll start sketching in proper details. I was thinking like this was the jousting helmet, or like the frog mouth helmet. I think that's what it's called. And then we can add some, just some visual interest there. It looks like a little face. Hello. Okay, and then we can add this here. Clip that. And then let's go here. And again, we're just adding detail. I was thinking about adding some rivets, but instead of just doing like, circles like that, we can actually just describe the shadow. So let's say if I want to add rivets here instead of doing circles like that, I can describe more form and save time. It's just doing it like this. So it's almost like I'm doing the cast shadow of the rivets. And now I will kind of fill in the rest there. Maybe add some rivets along the chest piece. Oh, the cuirass? Cuirass? Cuirass. Cuirass. I don't know how to say that. Okay. Zoom out a bit. As you can see, Diesel is kind of lost. That's alright. Alright, cool. So it's going to create a new layer, and then we're going to add the shadow pass. I usually like doing a bright shadow color. It's just easier for me to see, and then I'll show you some of the tricks I do. So let's just say if the shadow was top down, I kind of want this to recede a bit because I'm thinking that the helmet is popping out. Alright, it's going to look weird for people who aren't used to this, but it really helps me see my shadow form. And I can, again, I really like playing with shapes, so it's easier for me to see how the shapes are, or the color of the shadow. So the color helps me see the shadow shapes a lot more. Probably add some rivets here. And then I kind of want more detail here, so I'm just gonna cut this in and then do that. Maybe, we'll see. It's temporary, it's digital, so you can always undo, try other iterations. for my own taste, it's a bit too dark in some areas here, so I'm gonna raise the brightness slightly, increase the saturation, and then play around with the hue to see something. This here is where I find you can have your own aesthetic taste in terms of like what kind of shadow color you want. I really like those greens. It goes really nice with the maroons there. But we'll see what else we have here. I think that looks pretty rad. Of course, you can go underneath on the color layer and do the same thing. Find some cool variations this way. This is how you can iterate super fast. If you keep the shadow layer and the local color underneath. Blues were... yeah, that was speaking to me. Awesome. Okay, now we think about this here. I'm usually like going back assessing. I noticed I was going to address this thing down here, and I think it was in this layer. I've lost actually where this was. Again, since we've separated the shadows and the highlights, and we only have our base color down here, I should just create a new layer and paint this guy in. You can be really smart about your layers. And if you're smart with your layers, then it's easy to do a lot more iterations. Kind of losing the detail in the background. Let's change the hue a bit. Let's see if something speaks to us. go. There you have a Lasso character. Lasso character. Hopefully you've found some cool tricks on this. Bye bye.